committee. Our first time member to speak will be Matt Knox, chairman of the Missouri Stewards.
As Ron stated earlier, we branch out in the Missouri Breaks. We're northeast of Rehberg, about 24 miles. My wife, Carla, and my girls and I'd like to thank Knox and Rehberg for giving us this opportunity to talk about this issue. If I had to compress this issue down to the single most important reason why the people of Phillips and Valley counties don't want this monument, it has to do with the simple fact that when you change the designation, all of a sudden it has a higher, bigger purpose, and it gives the environmental groups an end, basically. And that's where we're at right now. We spent 10 years trying to hammer out a management plan, and we finally give a management plan that we think everyone can agree on, and the BLM goes forward with it, or tries to go forward with it. Well, the environmental groups have all decided since they didn't get everything they wanted, they're going to take it to court. So our group, we're filed as interveners in that lawsuit, and here again, it's been 10 years, 11 if you count the lead up to the designation, 11 or 12, that we've been involved in this. It's stressful, it's tiresome. Sometimes you almost think it takes the fun out of ranching, but you just have to remain optimistic and keep going. Jenny mentioned the not being a conspiracy theorist, and I guess I'm not either, but after reading some of this stuff, I think I might start wearing a tinfoil hat. The level of collusion between the World Wildlife Fund and the Interior Department is really scary. And we have the American Prairie Foundation, and they're represented here today, but they're up there buying ranches, and maybe Sean later can explain the relationship between APF and the World Wildlife Fund. But here's the problem I have. They talk about willing sellers. Well, when the World Wildlife Fund makes a request or a proposal to BLM during a resource management plan process, about 100,000 acres of ACDCs for that area, the West Highland, it kind of tells me that their real intent is to create willing sellers. Because if all of a sudden your BLM lease is so restricted that you can't legitimately manage it, then you're a lot more likely to sell your lease property. So I think there's some evil intent involved there. Some quick words of advice. You have to take advice from us with a grain of salt. We made a lot of mistakes in the last 10 years, but we did learn a lot too. And this is for people of Highline. Utilize your first line of defense is your ag groups that are your friends. The Montana Farm Bureau, Montana Stock Growers, White, Public Lands Council. These groups are your friends. Try to get farmers unions. We tried, didn't have much luck. There's probably members of Montana Cattlemen's Association here. That group has mostly been involved in trade issues, but maybe it's time that they step up to this fight. Do your best to have a good relationship with your local BLM people. Sometimes that's hard, but you don't want to kill the messenger. You have to remember that a lot of these initiatives come from Washington, D.C. They generally aren't hatched in Malta or Lewiston. And, BLM people aren't going to advocate for you. They can't. They have to be careful. That's part of their job. But a lot of these people do have a multiple use ethic, and they will try to administer lands that way, at least within, the influence and power that they have. I think maybe the most important thing, and you're just getting started on this, we've been at it for, like I said, 11 or 12 years, but keep your optimism. And always remember why this is worth fighting for. And I have an admiration for people from the Highline. I think anybody who puts up with the weather you do up there is got to be pretty tough. And in fact, I was at an auction sale a couple months ago north of Rehberg, talking to a guy that had spent a lot of time in Canada, and he said, you know, we better not ever antagonize the Canadians enough where they invade Montana. He said, we'd be in trouble. He said, they're awful tough people. And I said, well, hell, I said, if I didn't need to get to us, they'd have to get through the Highlands first. So we have faith that the Highland people are going to put up a good fight. Our organization, Missouri River Stewards, is in your corner. We've already been to attended meetings in Malta, and we're with you 100%. Congressman Rehberg's in your corner. And if Max Watkins is serious about his statement that the use of the Antiquities Act to create the Missouri Breaks National Monument was a mistake, you need to jump on him and hold him to that statement and say, and get him to come out and publicly oppose any monument designations for north of the river. So with that, I'll turn it over to the next gentleman.